Canada have gone on strike. They want to
trying to keep them from crossing the picket lines. They hurled eggs in Mount Pearl, Newfoundland. The picket lines are up in 56 communities across the country today, and it's anybody's guess how long this rotating strike will last.
Well, I'm still of the view that a mediator would be of great assistance to the parties.
The chief negotiator for the post office asked for a mediator last Friday. Yesterday, Labour Minister Pierre Cadieux refused. Today, Harold Dunstan was questioning how much progress they could be expected to make without help from a third party.
While I'm willing to return to the table at any time, it's very difficult to go back to a table that we left when there was no movement. So I still think a mediator is necessary.
Union President Robert McGarry calls the decision not to appoint a mediator irresponsible, but he's willing to try again with the post office.
We're quite willing to go back to the table with Canada Post, with a mediator, with any combination of the two, but we think the only way to get it settled is at the table.
If it was just a matter of getting each side to the bargaining table, this strike would be over by now. But each side was saying again today that the other guy has to bend if there's going to be a settlement. That's why they wanted a mediator. Without one, it's not clear how much progress they can make. Anna Maria Tremonti, CBC News, Ottawa.
The government of South Korea has begun making good on some of the promises it made this morning in a dramatic attempt to
It was a straight commitment, but we did ask that Mr. McGarry would remove the picket lines during that period of time. Unless the mediator is in and it looks like we are going to have a settlement imminent, in order to meet our responsibility to the public and in order to keep the mail moving, we do have to have the replacement workers.
Now, the other day you were quoted as saying that there was possibility that close to 40,000 postal workers could be laid off, that you might have to shut the doors completely if the violence continued on the line. Is that still a possibility?
Well, I just set the record straight on that one. The quote left out that I had posed it as a speculative question. What I asked was, what is the alternative? And one of the alternatives is to shut the post office down and to lay 40,000 people off. Certainly we're not contemplating that at this time. We feel that with the volumes that are there and the way we are moving the mail, that we will be able to continue to operate.
Well, that would be a PR nightmare for the post office, because at this point people in Canada are still getting some mail because of the rotating strike, that if you were to lay off and shut down completely, that the post office would be seen definitely as the bad guy in this whole dispute.
Well, people are getting more than some mail. People are getting a lot of mail. Last week's volumes, 120 million pieces, as compared to 140 million pieces for the comparable period the year before. All of that mail is now moved out of the system into the public's hands, and we expect to do as well this week.
Now, on top of everything else, the House of Commons committee looking at the post office, the report came out, or was leaked at one point. One of the recommendations was to declare the post office an essential service and that its workers lose the right to strike. This can't help you very much heading back to the negotiating table with a report like that in front of them.
Well, the House of Commons committee makes recommendations. That's I guess their responsibility. My responsibility and Canada Post's responsibility is to get this dispute settled, and I don't believe that any outside actions of that nature are going to affect us.
But it wasn't very timely.
A lot of things happen that aren't timely.
So what happens now? Do you think it's going to make, with that recommendation in front of you from the Commons Committee, or the fact that the postal union knows about it, that it's going to make things tougher for you to win the concessions that you want at the table?
Well, the report is not before us. The report is before the House.
But the postal union is aware of what's contained in that.
Yes, and they, as anybody else, I believe the system provides for 120 days whereby the public, interested parties can make submissions, and I'm sure that the unions will be making submissions. Perhaps Canada Post will be making submissions. other interested bodies will be making submissions on those recommendations also.
When you first started the negotiations for the post office, I know it's difficult to say this now, but did you think that things could be shortened a lot more, that this might not be a strike that would last all summer? I'm just wondering what happens now without the mediator. Do you think we're looking at a whole summer of disrupted postal service?
Well, I certainly hope not. I think that the moving of the mail is paramount to us, but also getting a settlement is paramount, and we're going to do our best to get that settlement.
Okay, Mr. Dunstan, thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome.
We'll be back with everything you wanted to know about Purple Martins.